Man, he's speaking the truth here. This final piece is he's saying, you got it. Hey, it's Derek here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be reacting to Depression by Dax. Just for a little background, if you're new here, I am a financial psychology expert and financial therapist, heavily influenced by philosophy. I spent a lot of my life thinking about what makes a meaningful life. How can we become more resilient? How can we become more mindful? And that works its way into my professional life. And I'm going to react to Dax today with that lens. I do something a little bit different. I don't want to be distracted by the video when I'm listening to the words and the music, and vice versa. I don't want to be distracted by the music when I'm trying to watch the video. So I'm going to go through this twice. The first time I'm just going to listen to the song, and then I'm going to check out the video. So without further ado, Dax, Depression. Let's get it. Cool little. Is it a guitar?
I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help.
I get lost inside my brain.
I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So
I mean, already he's talking about I get lost inside my brain. There's nothing I can change with these cards that I'm dealt. I mean, that's a profound realization that nobody chose to be born. You didn't give your consent to be born. And this is really, really drives you really bonkers because there was no you to give consent. So you were just born. And now that you're here, you don't have any, you didn't choose anything about your parents, your IQ, any of your genes. That's the cards you were dealt. So now that you have those cards, it's up to you to play those cards as best you can. And as best you can is defined by you, not anybody else. So that's what meaning in life is all about. What's meaningful for you instead of doing what you're supposed to do or what you think you're supposed to do? How can you play these cards in a way that brings meaning to you? And so what I'm picking up from this song so far is I didn't choose those cards and I can't change it, but I'm catching undertones of less acceptance of this is what it is, say, and more this sucks, kind of.
I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days.
Right, I can't change it.
Reminisce about the good times. Wish I could get those back. I keep on running these races that go in my mind.
I reminisce about the good times, and I wish I could get them back. So nostalgia is this kind of feeling of going back in time and remembering how good the times were. Often, nostalgia is kind of weird because on one hand, it's good and it's fun to go back and reminisce about the good old days. And then you can ask yourself, what can I be doing today so that I can look back on today with nostalgia? On the other hand, there's this thing called euphoric recall, which means that we see things, we tend to forget the bad stuff and remember the good stuff. Or if we remember the bad stuff, it's usually through a good light. So thinking and remembering nostalgic events or thinking about the past is good, but there's a fine line between ruminating. So there's a difference between, here's the real difference. Can I look back at the past with gratitude and be happy that I experienced that? That's nostalgia. Looking back at the past and saying, that was good then, it sucks now. that's ruminating, and that's dangerous.
And they go on these tracks. I'm not ready to erase all my memories.
Okay.
I fight depression and I let it get the best of me.
Fight depression and let it get the best of me.
Nowhere to go. Look around, there's liquor bottles all on the floor. Filling up the
Using
spaces
liquor
I'm
to
all alone.
distract himself,
Drowning out these thoughts until they leave me alone. I can't
drown
find
out those
myself.
thoughts. Yeah.
I get lost inside my brain.
Does he rap in
I
this song?
might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. These thoughts are draining all my energy. I try to tell them to God, they said I'm going insane. And
These thoughts are getting the best of me. In the world of mindfulness and mindfulness meditation, this is training to see thoughts as just thoughts. It's very easy, almost the default, for us to identify with our thoughts. We think that if we have our thoughts, that's a reflection of us. With mindfulness training, you learn that thoughts come and go. They are just thoughts. You don't have to identify them. You don't have to really pay any attention to them. They don't mean anything. They're just thoughts. And that's where you can get with mindfulness training. It's in much the same way. You never start there because that's getting pretty advanced. But you can get there. You start with paying attention to your breath and just seeing how quickly your mind wanders. But then you can take something like, my knee hurts. I smashed it against a hitch a couple of days ago. And it's easy to just say, yeah, my knee hurts. It's also easy to wish it weren't so. My knee should not hurt. It sucks that it hurts. Something's against me. But if I pay attention, how do I know it hurts? What is the raw sensation of a painful knee? And you can actually pay attention to the pattern of energy. Is it heat? Is it pressure? Is it tingling? What is it that tells me that this is pain? Because pain is a story. What are the raw sensations? And when you get training in that, then you can say, well, what is a thought? It's just a pattern of energy, and you don't have to pay any attention to it if you don't want to. But now that's advanced, but this is kind of what he's talking about is, I've got these thoughts and they're taking over, and I even distract myself from these thoughts with alcohol.
then they recommended therapy. And I'm going
Okay,
up to
nice.
a man who's getting paid to explain. He started saying that the chemical imbalance is the reason that my brain ain't connecting to accomplishments associated with moving on in life and past the things that my
Okay, so he's going to see therapy, and he's saying, almost with undertones of skepticism, that this man is being paid to just explain things to me. And the reason that I'm depressed, or the reason that I'm not happy, is because there's a chemical imbalance. There's something wrong with my transmitters. There's something wrong with my dopamine, my serotonin levels, my oxytocin levels. There's too much cortisol and things like that. So I'm imagining the type of therapist that he's talking about is a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor, and they're seeing mental health through the lens of medicine. Talk therapy, and especially talk therapies that are rooted in humanistic psychology, say there's nothing wrong with you. You have right to full autonomy. You are already good. There's just something in your way. There's some mental block, and then we can work to get past that. So there's a difference between psychology and using medicines. So it sounds like he went to see a psychiatrist. So psychiatry and psychology are a little bit different.
heart cannot contain, so the happiness won't sustain. And he read me my options. He said, here goes a pill, only take 2 in a meal.
Here's a pill.
Numb how I feel. I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. Should I drown all these thoughts or should I leave them to float? I've got all of my
Exactly.
flaws living
Should I?
inside of this boat. I've been anchored in pain, the weight is making me.
Should I? How did he say that? Should I let them float? He has these
Should I
thoughts.
drown all these thoughts or should I leave them to float?
Should I drown all these thoughts or should I lead them afloat? So he's getting to the mindfulness approach. I have all these thoughts, and do I ignore them, push them away, and try to squash these thoughts and change these thoughts and try not to have these thoughts, or should I let them be there and just ruminate on them? In both of those cases, you're not really being mindful. So again, mindfulness is like a magic bullet, but it takes a lot of practice to get there. The pills, on the other hand, the psychiatrist is going to give you a pill. That takes no practice. That just eat these 2 pills with meals, like you said. But with mindfulness, you learn that everything comes and goes. Everything that comes will eventually go, just like thoughts. So you don't want to push them away. You're not trying to change your thoughts, but you don't have to pay any attention to them either. You can just see them as patterns of energy and let them go.
I've got all of my flaws living inside of this boat. I've been anchored in pain, the weight is making me choke. It's getting harder to breathe, it's pulling right at my throat. I've been hoping for change, but don't know how to restart. They say you ain't a man when you exposing your heart. Then they say you insane until it tears you apart. And then they cut you so deep and they can tell by the scars. We can only see change when we accept who we are. Try to run from the shame and you won't never.
We can only see change when we accept who we are. And that's, man, I wonder if that's on purpose. I was just talking about the difference between psychiatry and psychology. And one just wants to throw pills at it. The other is the recognition, again, especially humanistic psychology, which is you are already good. There's just something in your way, and we can get through that. So this is kind of the part of the song, it sounds like, where he's coming through and saying, you got this, but you need to accept it first.
Insane until it tears you apart, and then it cuts you so deep and they can tell by the scars. We can only see change when we accept who we are. Try to run from the shame and you won't never get far. Don't you bottle the pain and live your life in the dark. You're meant to break from those chains and shine as bright as a star. Don't you ever tell yourself that your depression is the reason you won't make it, or that happiness.
Man, he's speaking the truth here. This final piece is he's saying, you got it. You can get through this. You might need some help, but you can get through this. Loving this message here. Yes.
Live your life in the dark. You're meant to break from those chains and shine as bright as a star. Don't you ever tell yourself that your depression is the reason you won't make it.
Your depression. That's the other thing. Don't identify with your problems, whatever problem is. You are not depressed. You are experiencing depression, or there is depression around. You are not the problem. The problem is the problem. Right? So recognize that. Recognize you are not the problem. The problem is the problem. You are not depressed. You're not identified with your depression. You are you, and there is depression. Once you see that, that gives you a big head start towards getting better.
You know that happiness is not in your cards. Without God, you can beat all the odds. Keep your faith and you'll never be lost and say, I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help. But I pushed off them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days.
I like it a lot. All right. So now I'm going to check out the video. So this keeps playing on me. All right. So now I'm going to check out the video. That was just the reaction to the song, the lyrics in the song. So now let's check out the video. All right. He's on a boat. It's storming out. That must be his depression. Oh, okay. So 2 days earlier. So we got a 2-day journey he's going to take us on. Is this alcohol bottles?
I can't find myself. I get lost inside my
Wait a second.
brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the
Wait a second. That's Dax. That's the name of his channel.
and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for
Is this-
brighter days. Sometimes I
This
sit
is
and
the
I
Truman Show.
reminisce about the good times.
He's living in the Truman Show.
Wish I could get those back. I keep on running these races that go in my mind. And they go on these tracks. I'm
Dude,
not
like
ready to
100%.
live
This is.
my memories. I fight depression and I let it get the best of me.
Oh my god. Yeah, 100. This is exactly Truman Show.
Nowhere to go. Look around,
So he's just living in this manufactured life.
filling up the space
He doesn't
in my
know it.
heart and my home.
Everybody else knows but him.
Drowning out these thoughts until they leave me alone. I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed off.
Yeah, just like Truman Show. He's trying to
I took the car
leave, but they manufacture reasons to get him to stay.
Nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. These thoughts are draining all my energy. I try to tell them the God, they said I'm going insane, and then they
Try
recommended
therapy.
therapy. And I go and talk to a man who's getting paid to explain. He started saying that the chemical imbalance is the reason that my brain
Wait,
ain't connecting to a
no. That said numb the sadness. That says numb the sadness. Try therapy, numb the sadness. That's the problem. You're not trying to numb the sadness. You're not trying to not be sad. You're not trying to push away the sadness or any other thing. And remember, we don't want to identify. I'm not sad. I'm feeling sad, or there is sadness here. You don't want to numb the sadness. You want to experience the sadness. Much like thoughts, the sadness will come and the sadness will go. Your body is sad for a reason. So let yourself be sad. And maybe, I mean, this is contextual. Like, there are times when you don't want to, like, say, start bawling, but allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to be afraid. You don't numb it. Because when you numb the bad, this is Brene Brown, when you numb the bad, you also numb the good. You want to experience everything. So don't numb the sadness. Experience the sadness and try to learn why you're sad and see if there's something that you can do about it.
The reason that my brain ain't connecting to accomplishments associated with moving on in life and past the things that my heart
Everybody's
cannot
watching.
contain, so the happiness won't sustain. And he read me my options. He said, here goes a pill, only take
Yeah.
2 eat a meal, and it'll numb how I feel. Numb how I feel. Numb how I feel. I can't find myself.
Oh, he did it. They're happy. He took the
I
pills.
get lost inside my brain. Think I
Except this
might
guy, he's-
need help, but I pushed off them
This is a crazy video. There's some hidden meanings that I'm missing here. This will take me some pondering.
I just pray for brighter days. Should I drown all these thoughts or should I leave them to float? I've got all of my flaws living inside of this boat. I've been anchored in pain, the weight is making me choke. It's getting harder to breathe, it's pulling right at my throat. I've been hoping for change but don't know how to restart. They say you ain't a man when you exposing your heart. And they say you insane.
Yeah,
until
so, I mean,
it
so
tears
that's
you
what he talked
apart.
about in his song "To Be a Man," because societal, especially in the West, societal messages say that men should not be emotional, or if you're emotional as a man, you can express one emotion, and that's anger. You know, the cultural message for females is that you're not allowed to be emotional except sad. You can be sad. All of those are bonkers. You should ignore those. You should allow yourself to experience whatever experience you're feeling. But he's saying it's hard to. And so I have to bottle it up because I'm not allowed to feel these things.
And it cuts you so deep and they can tell by the scars. We can only see change when we accept who we are. Try to run from the shame and you won't never get far. Don't you bottle the pain and live your life in the dark. You're meant to break from those chains and shine as bright as a star. Don't you ever tell yourself that your depression is the reason you won't make it. Or that
Okay, so here's on the boat. Just like Truman Show, he's trying, he says, I'm out of here. And he was in that storm, so they're going to manufacture a storm to try to keep him. Yep.
I get lost inside my brain. there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself,
He's getting to the end. Is he gonna like
right today.
find the door? Or made it to the edge of the world. I was gonna rip through, I see. Yo, is that okay? Is this so okay, and the song's called Depression. So I think my first stab at trying to figure out the complexities here is depression is kind of like being in a world that's not really you. It's not really your world. Everything's being manipulated for you, as in the Truman Show here. Confronting that is the way to get through it. There's a lot to this. This is fantastic. I love the Truman Show aspect of it, and the Truman Show itself. If you haven't seen that movie, you owe it to yourself. Jim Carrey is in that. I forget who plays the the person directing the show, the creator or whatever. It's on the tip of my tongue, but they did a good job with him. It's a fantastic movie, and it's a very philosophical movie too, about how do you know this is real? How do you know that this is real? So the Truman Show itself is very deep, and then now you got Dax throwing in his spin on the Truman Show through the lens of depression. All of this is super good. What did I miss? What did I misinterpret? Let me know. Is this something that works? Is this something you like? Let me know. Something you hate? Let me know. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.